KCC311 for your week number 2/3 assignment. We need to create a graph from categorical data. Let's walk through how to do that, and let's relate it to week number 1 assignment. Week number 1, I had you go into the Chicago data portal. You had to find a dashboard like this and find an interesting graph and tell me why it's interesting and, make some basic observations. And I think you guys did really good. If you haven't checked the reflections, you can see other students' submissions and make some comments. However, the problem with these graphs is, look at the title is really tiny. It's hard for me to tell at a glance what I'm looking at. The labels are really tiny at the bottom. It's hard for me to tell what's 008 mean. I don't know. These numbers, it's hard for me to tell. The graphs are not, information might be correct, but it's not presented in the neatest way. So what are we going to do in this week's assignment? We're going to remake one of these graphs, and we're going to dress it up a little bit. Okay, that's the goal. Remake a graph. Not something like this. This is temporal data over time, a little more tricky. Something like this, categorical data, where it's either true or false. We're going to remake a graph. How do we do it? First thing we need to do, we need to go to the data portal. We need to get a graph we like. We need to go to export to get the data. And then we need to download it. Whoa, before you run up and say, okay, I'm going to do the crimes. Look at that. That's 6 million rows. That's big data. That's so big it would take a really long time to download, really long time to upload, make a graph, all that sort of thing. My recommendation to you, and you feel free, if you're really feeling it, you can go for this one. 6 million, that's pretty ambitious. My recommendation is to find a data set. Here's the COPA cases. So this is police complaints. Find a data set that is more moderate in size. This is 86,000. That's still big, but it's not unwieldy. There might be some that are maybe a couple thousand. That's good. Less than 100, probably a little too small. I think it can be a little more ambitious. But in the thousands, I think we can deal with this. And I have these graphs. These are categorical graphs, either male, female, different age groups. These are great. Let's remake this. Let's dress it up so that I can see the story more clearly. So, in order to do that, in week 2 or 3 assignment, I'm going to go to export. I'm going to go to download. I've already done that. And then you need to open that downloaded file in either Excel, or I'm going to do it in Google Sheets. If you're not sure how to access Google Sheets, I'll walk through that at the end of the slideshow. However, what I need you to know right now is open this data that you download from the data portal and open it in a spreadsheet, either Microsoft Excel, or I'm going to show you later in Google Sheets. Once you open it, identify up at the top here, these are all the different variables, all the different measurements that this data set talks about. You need to pick a categorical one, something that is in different categories, male or female, different age groups. Those are the categories you need to look at. So I'm looking up here, which one is a categorical data set? Let's go with ages involved, because the ages are in categories, between 30s, in their 40s, in their 50s. Maybe there's some other ones, but I think we can start there. When you have your spreadsheet, I'm going to go over to the side here. It's kind of a blank area. And I'm going to just color. The color just helps me set it apart. And the two things I'm going to do is I'm going to type the category, and then I'm going to type the frequency. Frequency is a fancy math word to say how many. How many in each category. So I got to type, what are the different categories? I'm talking about the ages here. Well, one category of age is 30/39. Now, you have to type very carefully exactly the same as in here. Can't write in your 30s. You have to write 30/39. Next up, 40/49. We'll type it exactly as it appears here. And then the last one I see there is 50/59. Okay, I type down the categories. If you want to do male, female, well, that's a little easier. Just type male, female. But make sure it's typed exactly the same. Over to the next one. Frequency. Frequency says how many. You could go ahead, feel free. You could count all the 30 to 39s on your own. It would take you a long time, because if we went back here, remember there's 86,000 COPA cases, 86,000 police complaints. It doesn't take too long. What's my job then? Go over here to frequency. Hit the equals button. Equal in either Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets says type in a formula. And start to type count if. And you'll see it'll pop up underneath, and you double click it. Count if is a fancy way the computer says, what do you want me to count? And what group do you want me to count for? Well, two different things. What do I want to count? I want to count the ages. Go up to the top and click the ages. And it highlights all the different ages. Then type a comma. What age specifically am I looking for? I'm looking for the 30 to 39 group. So I click that 30 to 39 group, finish the parenthesis, because we started with a parenthesis, we got to finish a parenthesis, and hit enter. And it takes a second, but then it spits out, hey, there's 11,500 complaints for officers that are 30 years old. Let's do it again. How many complaints against 40-year-old officers? Equals count, and you'll see it's down there. There's count if. There's all these different options. I just want count if. Double click it. That parenthesis says it's ready to go. Okay, what do I need? I need, what am I looking at? I'm looking at the age. So click the top, not the age. Click the O at the top. Comma. What specific age? In this case, I'm talking about the 40-year-olds. I click that, parenthesis, enter. And it spits out a number, almost 8,000. I'll go one more for it. Count if. I got it right there. Double click. I type the age at the top, comma, 50 to 59. And I'm in. I got some numbers. That is your job. You're going to download a data set that you found from the data portal. Once you download, upload that data set to a Microsoft Excel, something like that. I'm going to show you Google Sheets in just a second. And then when you use the count if, you'll have the categories and you'll have how many. Last step, highlight all that. Highlight all that information and go up top to insert chart. It takes a second and ta-da, it pops out a graph. The graph should look fairly similar to what I have here. What's the big difference? The big difference is I have these labels down here and I can add a table. A title. How do I add a title? If you click these dots here, these dots will help you save this. And the last thing is in terms of customize here. Now look at you have different things. You have the styles for the charts. You have the titles. Look at this chart title, KCC311 graph. So you can do these type of things. And if you do that, now I have a title for the graph. I'm a little closer to getting graphs that tell a story. These ones, it might be a little harder to see that. So your job for the week 2, week 3 assignment is you need to go to the dashboard. You need to download a data set that you like. You need to go find a categorical data. In this case, I picked age because it's 30s, 40s, 50s. You need to create a table like I did here. The table has the categories. The table has this count if formula. Once you create the count if, highlight everything, insert, and you can insert a chart. You can add a title, and now this guy, we're going to be able to copy and create a graph, or create something that tells a story a little more clearly. Walk through those steps. Oh, and that will be your week 2, week 3 assignment. The very last thing I'm going to show, for those of you who are not familiar how to access Google Sheets, if you go to your Kendall College email, you're going to have more emails. You'll have the same screen. You'll have more emails here. Go up to the little tic-tac-toe grid right here. Google Sheets. You click Google Sheets. And this is how you can get everything that I was just doing, the count if. Click a blank sheet. We need to start something. And now you're ready to upload the data. File, import, upload from my computer. And then you can go here. I downloaded the Copus cases. Now, it's still a big file, 6 megabytes. So it'll take a minute or two for it to open. But that is the process you're going to do. You're going to go to Kendall College email. You're going to click Google Sheets. When you get to a brand new sheet, you can import your data set. And then from here, you can work on the count if formula like I walked you through. It's a lot of steps. It's more technical certainly than the first week's assignment, but you know the data portal. You can find some data sets you can download, and then you can look at them in a spreadsheet and create a graph. Walk through that process. If you do have questions, you can send me an email. I'm looking for this by the end of this week, week number 3, Sunday, January 28th. This will be the due date. And also in course documents, check the last video about what I'm looking for this submission, because this graph is a good start, but then I'm going to ask you to put that in a final graphic for this week's submission. Questions? Please reach out.